What is going on, everyone? Today, to celebrate the channel almost hitting that 10K subscriber mark, we're going to be giving away this awesome EXO Manowar Valiant BCW Stortfolio, and it is going to be filled with a grab bag of comic books. All you need to do to have a chance to win this prize is be subscribed to the channel, click that notification bell, and comment below that you are indeed subbed up to journals, comics, and pop culture. And if you stick around for the whole video, I will be including a trivia question somewhere in the video. If you answer this question in the comment as well, you will have a second entry into winning this, folks. And here's the thing, you don't even need to get the question right. All you need to do is attempt to try. Good luck to each and every one of you. All right, everyone, today we are going to be looking at the hot trending comics for February of 2022. This is a monthly series that I do every single month. And today we're going to be looking at books that are trending upward on the market. We have 4 books and 3 of them have hit record high sales. Shall we just get into the first book? We have Thor #1 from 2014. This is the first cover appearance and solo title of Jane Foster's Thor. This book has been picking up some steam. Obviously, we probably know why with Thor Love and Thunder creeping around the corner. I cannot wait for this movie. Current CGC 9.8 fair market value sitting at about $339. Keep in mind, I always like to remind everyone, a fair market value is a moving, rolling average. It is never an exact science, all right? Now, 1 year ago, this book was sitting at $201. It has seen a 69% increase in value. Recent high raw did sell for $204. This book has absolutely picked up. I remember picking up a copy. It wasn't a super high grade, probably a fine copy for about $1 from Half Price Books a few years ago. But man, those were the good old days. Can this book hold? I really think it depends on how viewers take in the film. If it's well received, I definitely think this book is going to hold, at least for the time being. But keep in mind, this was a very sought after and congratulated run. A lot of people actually enjoyed the comics before we even knew that this concept was going to unfold in the MCU, with Jane Foster returning to pick up the Thor mantle. So I'm definitely hopeful for this book long term, but of course, just with the way the market is short term, a lot of ebb and flow going on. But I'm looking for success from this film to really help impact this book stay solid on the market. All right, let's get into the next book, and that is Strange Tales 126. This is the first appearance of Dormammu, but it's also the first appearance of Clea, who later becomes Doctor Strange's wife. Now, this is another book that is picking up right now because of what's going on in the MCU. And of course, we have the Multiverse of Madness right around the corner here, just a couple of months away. And a lot of people are speculating that, Clea is going to be in this film. So we've already seen Dormammu. This is, to me, definitely, I'd call it an affordable blue chip key. And when I say blue chip, we really think about what it's done in terms of precedent in years prior and what it's going to do moving forward in terms of holding that long-term value. But let's look at these numbers. Current CGC 6.0 fair market value sitting at 620, where 3 years ago was sitting at 305. So again, I'm using a mid-grade book, and you can see that this book was already a very established, had an established fair market value on the market. It would be good to look at what this book actually was doing before we even received the first Doctor Strange movie, where we saw Dormammu. I'm sure that helped this book pick up. But I mean, we've seen the book basically double over the last 3 years, 103% increase with the average raw of $145. So again, I call this a minor blue chip, just because I really think that this book holds weight long term. But again, because of the speculation pairing with the MCU and with these movies coming out, that short-term ebb and flow can definitely be volatile. So I would be very careful with this book. In higher grades, this book did hit some record highs this month, but again, I don't like to focus on record highs myself. They're fun, They're exciting. It's interesting to see, especially when those high grades, those 9.8s, hit a record high sale. But I like to steer clear of kind of sensationalizing those things, because a record high can just be one or two people bidding it up one day, and maybe a week later, when that same book and that same grade hits the market, maybe somebody doesn't have as deep pockets. I've talked about this before, but be very careful with the speculation side of this book. If I was in the market for this book, I might wait out to see if anything happens in the film, because if Clea's not in the film, or maybe it doesn't really pan out the way that we see it to why we're specking on this book can kind of, stagnate a little bit, cool off a little bit. But at this point in time, it's all a gamble. All right, we got two more books. We're halfway there, but I want to take a second to remind you all, if you are in need of comic book supplies, please check out bcwsupplies.com. You can use the discount code JOURNOS and receive 10% off of your order. This code never expires. You can use it as many times as you want, folks. So if you're ordering, supplies every month or once every 3 months, make sure you're using that JOURNOS discount code and saving yourself some money. But let's get into the next book. We got Amazing Spider-Man 210. Of course, this book is on the list. First appearance of Madam Web. We talked about this in the top 10 last week. Again, let's look at these numbers. Current CGC 9.8. Fair market values sitting at around 1,300 with a recent high of 1,500. 3 years ago, it was sitting at 630. Still a solid value for this book, but it's almost doubled, a little more than doubled, 106% increase in value, with an average raw sitting at $204. And I do believe that last week's high was $303. So I'm going to kind of regurgitate what I was saying in last week's top 10. This book has staying power. This book is a book that is going to be a solid long-term investment. But again, there is a lot of speculation and hype around it right now. But I analyzed the numbers, and the numbers weren't increasing or peaking to an extreme. So it wasn't like we got this announcement of Dakota Johnson being cast as Madam Web in a Madam Web solo film for Sony. So all these things official. This announcement comes, and yes, people went after this book. The price jilted up some, but it wasn't extreme. It wasn't an extreme kind of FOMO'd out type of numbers. So that to me shows me that I think there's a lot of healthy things still going on with this book. I think there's definitely potential for the book to increase in the short term and the long term. But again, when you have so much attention on the speculation being towards a live action project, it's got to be well received. We have to enjoy this movie when it comes out. And then again, there's the stipulation of, well, what rendition of Madam Web is it going to be? Is it going to be the original Madam Web? Is it going to be Julia Carpenter? Is it going to be kind of a mash of the two, or so forth? Are we going to see, is Dakota Johnson playing Julia Carpenter's Madam Web, but are we still going to get the original Madam Web in the film? All of these unknowns. So again, I would just be patient with this book. Take your time with it. Analyze the market if you're looking for it. But I do feel that even if this book cools off at some point and has some ebb and flow, it's going to have an upward trajectory for that long term. But again, folks, as I always like to say when I talk about comic books like this, these are just my personal opinions. I add in facts and data based on the numbers, and you all have to make autonomous decisions and smart decisions if you are in the market to buy or invest in these books. And if you have no love for the books at the end of the day and you think it's something that you're going to regret, maybe it's not for you, right? All right, folks, we have one more book, but before we get into that book, I want to remind you guys that today's video is sponsored by popculturezone.com, so a big thank you to them. Stick around towards the end of the video to learn more about popculturezone.com if you are interested. But let's get into the final book on the list today, and that is Iron Man 55. Yes! First appearance of Thanos, right? And Drax, but also Eros. And this book got a lot of flack because after the Infinity Saga, we saw Infinity War and Thanos' glory, and then Endgame, and we saw Thanos, take his final stand. The book kind of cooled off. Certain grades, very interesting, because certain grades it dipped off a little more. The cool off, if I had to estimate, was maybe around 35% on average for some of the grades, but there was a couple where it kind of dipped close to 50%. for a little while. It started trending upward again, after the dip, but there was a lot of concern of like, why is it dipping so hard? But I personally wasn't concerned with this book long term. I think it peaked hard because of Thanos in the MCU. Even with the dip, again, long-term investments. Ebb and flow is natural, but why is this peaking again right now to where we saw some high-grade record sales in these last couple of weeks? And I do believe that has to do with Arrows coming into the MCU. There's a lot of talk as well as saying that Thanos isn't done. He's going to come back. And I don't know, maybe to some extent. I know Kevin Feige and team, they're going to be cautious with it if they do ever go that route. And hey, Drax, we don't know what his future might be in the MCU. Anyways, let's look at these numbers now. A current 9.8 fair market value is sitting around 9,300 for this book, whereas 3 years ago it was sitting at 7,400 roughly. That's a 26% increase. But keep in mind, after 2019, this book started dipping even more. So if we looked at, the fair market value from just say 2 years ago in 2020, that increase from where it's at right now, that percentage would have been even higher. All right. Current average raw is sitting at about 936. So, I mean, folks, don't be disappointed in this book and what it's done over the last few years, the ups and downs. I think that's normal. This is a solid book. And as the MCU continues to age and it becomes legend, and we're all old and gray telling our grandkids, when they're watching it on Blu-ray, just like maybe folks from our generation or even the younger generation, got to watch Star Wars for the first time on VHS, or like me, Laserdisc, right? I think it's going to add to certain books like this one, because Thanos was a big part of that, and it's going to take a lot of people back to the comic books to say, ooh, I like this Thanos character. Who is Thanos, right? But good things on the horizon for this book. I think, again, there might be some ebb and flow in the future, just depending on what Arrows does in the MCU and how they utilize him. But nice set of 4 books this month, trending upward. As you can see, they're all Marvel books, because Marvel has just been making noise again with whether it's Marvel Studios or Sony, right? So before we go though, folks, I want to know your thoughts on the books in this video below. And remember, follow the rules to have a chance to win this video's contest giveaway. But before we go, I do got to give a big shout out to all of my Patreon members. Huge shout out to my new members this month, Zachary and Comic Book Museum. Thank you both for signing up to support the channel. If you guys are interested, that link is in the description below. It's only $3.99 a month. You get monthly Q&A videos, early access to videos like this one, and other perks as well. And I got to also thank and shout out all of my YouTube channel members. If you guys are interested in doing that, you can hit the join button below. That's only $1.99 a month. And you guys do get extra perks being a YouTube member as well. So thank you all for the continued support. Thank you guys, all of you, for watching and for getting closer to this 10K mark. I can't wait. And again, good luck to everyone that enters the contest. Remember, make sure you're subscribed, click the notification bell, hit the like button, and check out the comment section below to let me know that you are subbed. And remember, folks, what did I say? There is going to be a trivia question, and now I'm going to ask it. Are we ready? So include this answer in your comment, folks. The question is this: when MJ was pregnant, MJ and Peter moved out of New York. Peter took a job with a company and moved to what city and state? All right, folks, that's the question. Again, you don't need to get it right to get a second entry into the contest. Just try your best. I would love to see if anybody gets this one. Thank you guys for watching. Be well, and until next time. PopCultureZone.com is an online shop focusing on hot new comics, including exclusive and incentive variants, CGC graded comics, and tons of other inventory, including pop culture toys and other collectibles, all at low and competitive prices. PopCultureZone.com ships all over the US. And if you are buying raw comics, they offer flat rate shipping of only $4.99. That's right, $4.99. Absolute craziness, right? And there's no taxes included, excluding New Jersey. Pop Culture Zone is also on eBay, where they hold a 100% positive feedback rating with over 8,000 completed transactions for this year alone. Make sure to check out the link to their website below, as well as their eBay link, so be sure to give them a follow there as well.